I truly have no excuse for this video. Do you know how hard it is not to buy books? Truly? Do you know how hard? So I have some new books here. Even so, I have like 600 unread books on my shelves. That is not including the amount of books that I have on my Kindle. We're not going to talk about that. We're just talking about the physical books because out of sight, out of mind. You know what I mean? Sometimes I forget what's even on there. That's besides the point. Anyway, we're going to get to the point of this video also in just a second. Now, where was I going with that? I have well over 600 unread books. As of right now, I have like 622. If I didn't buy anything for like 5 years, 4.5, 5 years, I could get through all of these unread books. But do you know how many books are released every year? Do you know how behind I already am? Do you know that I am a mood reader? And right now I really want to enter my fantasy era. And therefore, I have been consuming a lot of fantasy bookish content, which is giving me all of these fantasy recommendations. That's not my excuse. There is no excuse to this video because I have books that I'm hauling. Yeah, if you follow me on TikTok and you follow me because I do the bookshelf balancing TikToks, just now in February, we're getting an F. I don't want to talk about it. Okay, let's talk about the books that I have for you today. I will say I only purchased 8 books in February, though I have like 14 to show you. Only 8 of them were purchased by me. So, okay, let's just dive into these books, girl. So I have 3 romances. We're gonna go ahead and go through those. The first one is one that I have been seeing everywhere. Okay, everywhere. Everyone's reading it right now, hauling it, posting pictures of it on Instagram, and I was like, yeah, sure. Let me go out there and find it. Also, it's because the FMC is a mom, and I too am a mom. And though I'm not single, I don't plan on going out and mingling, I just like to read books where I can relate with the main characters. And as a mom, I can relate. So in this one, we have a talk show host named Aiden. He is the talk show host of a dating advice hotline situation. And I want to say our main female character's daughter calls in to the radio to get advice for her mom because her mom is single. That little phone call of whatever, it went viral. And so the people wanted to see the lady on the show and like for him to help her get a date or something like that. I don't know. In the end, it like, does she want to choose the person that the radio chose for her? Or does she want to choose the person that's sitting beside her with the headphones on? Is what it says. So, radio sponsored Happily Ever After, or the man in the headphones next to her. I don't know, it sounds so cute. So I'm really excited about this one. So it's book number 1. I don't know where I'm gonna put these. I guess on the floor. Up next, we have The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. This one was sent to me by Gallery Books, so thank you so much. I didn't even know this was a thing. You know they used to do these with like the old mass market romance books. That's so cute. I love that. Love that. Before getting this in the mail, I had no idea. I don't think I ever seen this one, okay? I haven't been keeping up with Christina Lauren. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I hate to say that because they have written one of my most favorite romances of all time, but sometimes I'm just not in the mood. I don't know. That's not an excuse, girl. So when I got this in the mail, I was like, what is this even about? And then I read the back and I was the most intrigued. So we have Anna and this guy named West. They get married, not like because they're in love, but because like she wants to take advantage of the subsidized family housing at this college that they're at. So they get married. When they graduate and get their degrees, they get a divorce and they go their separate ways because they just literally did it for the housing. Fast forward 3 years later, Anna is a struggling artist and West cannot inherit his $100 million inheritance until he's been happily married for 5 years. So you know what he does? He goes and knocks on Anna's door. Let's get married again. Let's get married again. And I'm assuming they get married, but they also fall in love in this fake dating romance between the button-up heir of a grocery chain and a free-spirited artist. That sounds good, I'm not gonna lie. It truly, truly sounds like something I want to read. So the next book is one that I've actually already read, so pat on my back. And that is Deep End by Hazelwood. This is another like installment in her STEM little romance world. I don't think they're considered interconnected standalone books. However, characters from the Love Hypothesis are in this book. So we have Olive and Adam that were in the Love Hypothesis. They're like the professors in this book that these characters are working under. Anyway, so we have Scarlett, who is a diver at this school, and we have the MMC Lucas, who is a swimmer at this school. And at the very beginning of the book, Scarlett overhears her dive coach talking to her boyfriend. They're like kind of breaking up in the moment, and she overhears the conversation. And so then she winds up taking that friend to like a cafe and chit-chatting, because they broke up because the boyfriend liked to do like the whole sub-dom thing, and the girlfriend, i.e. the coach, did not. She's vanilla. And so they agreed to like break up. And Scarlett is into the whole sub-dom stuff, and she takes her friend, what was her, Violet or something? Okay, I was way off. Her name is Penn, but that's neither here nor there. Who remembers character names? So anyway, one night they get drunk, and Penn, who's already moved on, by the way, Penn is like, I have this great idea. You two should totally fuck. You're both into the same thing. Well, long story short, they be frickin'. And I will tell you this, at the very beginning of the book, she has like this little note even talking about how though it is kink, it is consensual. This isn't like, okay, I am not one who loves overly spicy books, right? This was not overly spicy for me. I feel like, even I read some reviews and people were like, I'm still searching for the kink. It does not go into full-on detail. It is not like 50 Shades of Grey. I've never read 50 Shades of Grey, but that was a bad example. Anyway, I had a good time. This is not a fucking book review. Oh my gosh, this next book, you guys, I had no idea this was coming to me. None. And I remember like 3 packages came in the same day for me. And I was like, let me just do a little unboxing on Instagram because it's cute. And I almost pissed myself when I opened this box. First off, I was so excited because it was the 10th anniversary edition of Nightingale by Kristen Hanna with the sprayed edges. Hello. The inside papers. Hello. Beautiful. But then I like discovered that Kristen Hanna personalized this to me. Kristen Hanna knows who I am. Does she? I don't know. Maybe they gave her a list of names. Maybe it's just our publishers that know. Kristen Hanna wrote my name. I don't know. This is going to be one of my favorite little cherishes because, hello? Can I say that? Because I haven't read this book yet. I haven't. I have read a Kristen Hanna book, The Women, one of my all-time favorite books now. I do need to get to this. I will be getting to this. This has really boosted my... This is gonna get read ASAP because just so special. I don't know. At first I'm like, can I be excited about it because she signed a book that I haven't read yet? But truly, like if Karen Slaughter were to send me a book that I haven't read by hers signed, I'd be really fucking excited. Like, hello? That doesn't make sense. I can be excited about a book that I haven't read yet that is signed by the author. I've read another book by her. I am allowed. Anyway, this is a historical fiction. I feel like you have either heard of The Nightingale or you've read The Nightingale. It's a historical fiction. I believe we follow 2 sisters that are in 2 different, spots in their life. It's World War II. Germany has invaded France. It's emotional. And yeah, I don't know. But I'm still super excited for it. Maybe I'll like convince people to do a buddy read with me in my Discord. We'll see. This next book was a book that was sent to me by the publisher. I do want to say that I do not keep every single book that is sent to me. I do bring some to the little free library that is in my neighborhood. This one I might not 100% keep it. Let me know if you've read it. I say that because a few people that I am friends with, there's an eyeball looking at me on the front cover of this. It's creeping me out. There are a few people that I follow on my friends list like that are friends with me online that have read this and disliked it. So there's a chance I might not keep it. I don't know, but I'm gonna haul it so I can add it to my TBR until I make that decision. It's called Something in the Walls. There's like an eyeball, can you see, peeking in through the wood. That's creepy. Daisy Pierce takes readers on a haunting ride through small town folklore, unresolved trauma, and a fear with shifting alliances and shocking twists that blur the line between truth and lies. Unexpected, mesmerizing, and totally original, Something in the Walls delivers breathless thriller pacing and horror vibes and a story with a deep emotional core that will keep you guessing until the very end. And that was by Darby Kane. And I did like glance at the synopsis. I didn't read the whole thing. The word witch jumped out at me because I like a good witchy book, okay? It says Alice Weber is a 13-year-old girl who claims she's being haunted. I can read. Listen, I took a Benadryl because I can't stop sneezing and I ran out of my Claritin. I'm allergic to dolls. Dolls? I can't speak today. I am allergic to dogs. I have a dog and my allergies been acting up because I ran out of Claritin and I bought some new allergy medicine because every few months I like to switch it up, you know? Allegra, Claritin, Zyrtec, what's it gonna be? I tried a new brand. It ain't working for me. And so I was like, I just could not stop sneezing this morning. So I took one Benadryl pill instead of two. Put me in a little coma. Okay, I took like an hour-long nap after I brought my daughter to school. I woke up on the couch and I didn't even know what dimension I was in. I was like, what's going on? But I've also been like chugging this energy drink and I think the two are battling in my brain. I don't know what's going on, but words. I'm glad I didn't take two Benadryl because I would probably be out for the count. You know what I'm saying? That shit puts me in a coma. Anyway, Something in the Walls. Let me know if I should read this or not. Another one that I know nothing about, but it seemed pretty cool, I guess. This is called The Lost House by Melissa Larson. I Hope I Haunt You. This is what the cover looks like, by the way. The Lost House. This was sent to me, in case you couldn't tell. I Hope I Haunt You. 40 years ago, a woman and her infant daughter were found buried. Let me stop for a minute. I opened this book up. It says $28 US at the top. I'm just curious. What's the price on this one? There is no price. So it's free. I'm just kidding. I hate when people say that. Oh, there's no price tag on it. Must be free. Okay, this one says $24. So I guess they haven't gone up too much. I don't know why I was thinking like adult books used to be like $19, right? This was in 1997 and it says $24. I just wanted to see what the price jump was. Apparently, it's like we feel like books have gone up so much. Maybe paperback books. Truly, paperback books used to be so cheap. Now they're almost the same. Ebooks, that is where they get you. Because you're literally paying for, you're reading the story, but you don't have nothing physical to hold on to. But you're paying almost the same price. Whatever. Okay, so this is The Lost House. And 40 years ago, a woman and her infant daughter were found buried in the Icelandic snow, lying together as though they were sleeping, except the mother's throat had been slashed and the infant had been drowned. There was nobody ever arrested or anything, though they suspected the father. The father at that time then took his son, flew halfway across the world to continue his life in California. Again, it has now been 40 years later. That father / husband has just died, and it's a year after his death. His granddaughter Agnes is reeling from a devastating injury, desperate to clear her grandfather's name and escape the shambles of her once stable life, and she agrees to an interview on a popular true crime podcaster Nora Carver's show. So Agnes then flies back to the remote town in Iceland where Agnes's father grew up and where supposedly her grandfather slaughtered his wife and daughter. But then a local girl goes missing. The same weekend Agnes arrives. Agnes and Nora's investigation is turned upside down. Suddenly everyone in the small Icelandic town is once again a suspect. Okay, you want me to be truly honest on that synopsis? It sounds like something that I've already read. Doesn't it? I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. All right, up next we have Welcome to Murder Week by Karen Dugas, author of the last book party. I'm looking for a synopsis, but I didn't see one. This because it's an ARC copy. I'll tell you on the back, it says, a trio of Americans trying to solve a fake murder in an English village is the novel I didn't know I was waiting for. Get ready to lose yourself in the smart, funny, and utterly original 5-star read. I'm currently in the middle of reading the Finlay Donovan series. I'm at the end of book 3. I'm starting book 4 today. Just from that little blurb alone, it's giving that vibe because Finlay Donovan is like a fun, funny murder mystery kind of book series. I don't know. So maybe I'll really like this. Who knows? With characters you want to befriend and an irresistible setting you'll long to visit, this captivating story is as wise as it is fun. A double mystery, a touch of romance, and above all, a truly perfect ending. So, and I like the title of it. Cute, cute. But what isn't cute is this book called Murderland, Crime and Bloodlust in the Time of Serial Killers. And that, my friends, is Ted Bundy on the front cover. So this is a true crime history book. A terrifying true crime history of serial killers in the Pacific Northwest and beyond, a gripping investigation of how a new strain of psychopath emerged out of the toxic landscape of deadly industrial violence. Can I read you a little bit more? I'm going to read you a little bit more. It says, Caroline Fraser grew up in the shadow of Ted Bundy, the most notorious serial killer of women in American history, surrounded by his hunting grounds and mountain body dumps in the brooding landscape of the Pacific Northwest. But in the 1970s and 80s, Bundy was just one perpetrator amid an uncanny explosion of serial rape and murder across the region. Why so many? Why so weirdly and nightmarishly gruesome? Why the senseless rise and the sudden fall of an epidemic of serial killing? And she kind of goes through all of that. This sounds real, it's very thick. If any type of true crime I am interested in is serial killer true crime during that era. So like Ted Bundy, Richard Ramirez, the Zodiac Killer. Am I the only one in America? I shared this little meme on Instagram last night that said, women will complain about reading about a dog's death in a book, but will stay up late at night watching how a serial killer kills 20 women while drinking a glass of wine. We have Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, a very, very, very popular book trilogy. This one was $37 on the inside. It's crazy the difference. Anyway, so I have this book club called Cereal and Milk, and the co-host in that said book club is Katie, and Katie has recently read the Mistborn. I know she's for sure read book 1 and she absolutely loved it, and Katie and I have very similar taste in books. So I did buy The Way of Kings right here. I haven't read it yet, but I also watched Brandon Sanderson. He has a YouTube channel, and I recently watched his, I think it was like updated end of last year, his like how he recommends you read his books, and he recommends to start with Mistborn. And I know a lot of people get the white cover. I personally like this cover better. I like it. So then you're thinking, what about book 2? Don't worry, girl. Got it. The Will of Ascension. Book 2. Boom. And then, of course, obviously, I was like, well, let me just go ahead and grab book 3 while I'm at it. And I got book 3, The Hero of Ages. So, I'm really excited to dive into those. If I had to take a guess, I would say end of March is when my plan is to dive into the first book in that trilogy. Do I know what that trilogy is about? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And the one thing about me is when I pick up a fantasy book and I read the synopsis, I get absolutely nothing from it. I get nothing from it. With a fantasy book, I just have to go in it and like read the first chapter twice, sometimes 3 times, and then I'm good. And then I can keep going. I don't know what it is, but that's just how it is. I get nothing from the synopsis. Everything goes over my head. So, and I have waited so long to read Brandon Sanderson because I always thought I was too dumb. You know, and I've been seeing a lot of people talk about this topic lately, as how a lot of people are afraid to dive into sci-fi or to fantasy like that because they feel like they're too dumb to get it. But you know what? It's okay. So this book is called Sword Heart by T. Kingfisher. I watched somebody in a reading vlog read this book and they loved it, and they are the reason why I decided to buy it. But this was a couple of months ago, I think. But at the time when I went to go buy it, I saw that they were doing a pre-order for this edition. And so I was like, why not? It's pretty. This is a romance, a delightful fantasy romance between a widowed housekeeper and her unlikely sworn protector. So Hala has unexpectedly inherited the estate of a wealthy uncle. Unfortunately, she is also saddled with money-hungry relatives full of devious plans for how to wrest the inheritance away from her. While locked in her bedroom, Hala inspects the ancient sword that's been collecting dust on the wall since before she moved in. Out of desperation, she unsheaths it, and suddenly a man appears. His name is Sarkis, and he is an immortal warrior trapped in a prison of enchanted steel. And I believe it's the romance between those two. So is this like a cozy fantasy? It sounds like it could be, I don't know, but the cover's absolutely stunning. The colors, the birds, the sword, sprayed edges, the inside's really pretty. Slay. The next book is called The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England by Brandon Sanderson. Okay, so I talked about Mistborn just a second ago. I have read a Brandon Sanderson book. It's one of my favorite books of 2024, Tress of the Emerald Sea. Okay, and that was one of his, what do they call them? Secret project books. And I think this is another one of his secret project books. I just know that when I was ordering a book online, I was like, well, I don't want the book to travel by itself. Let me find a second book to order along with it. In came this book. The inside is really cool. It has characters, I'm assuming, from the book. So apparently this is about a man who awakes in a clearing in what appears to be medieval England with no memory of who he is, where he is from, how he got there, or whatever. And his only hope for survival is getting his memories back. Yeah, and apparently he has this guidebook called The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England, except his copy exploded during transit. Anyway, the last book is another nonfiction book. However, this one's a little different than any of the other books that I have ever hauled, okay? I have been so obsessed with this podcast, and I watch it here on YouTube, and it's called Diary of a CEO. And he does interviews with some amazing, successful people that give such good advice, and he is a phenomenal interviewer. He lets the people that he is interviewing talk without interrupting. He has amazing questions. Like, he does a phenomenal job. 10 out of 10 recommend. I'll link it down below. He's done a couple of episodes with this particular doctor, but there's one in specific that really caught my eye, and I watched it, and then I'm pretty sure I've watched it 4 times now. I've sent it to people. I've shared it on Instagram. I sent it to my husband. Like, there's so much good information in this video, and it's about fasting, but not necessarily fasting for weight loss, but also about how to deal with perimenopause, menopause, libido, how to get your libido back, how to up the growth hormone, which is like the anti-aging hormone in your body. It helps with the skin elasticity. It helps get rid of bad cells that could potentially turn into cancer. It helps with infertility, like a whole bunch of other stuff. And she goes into like how the woman's body works, both for the woman and for the man who has like a woman in his life. It's just, even just for the actual human body, it has so much important information, things that I didn't even know about my own body. I was taught by her. I've since followed her on YouTube because she also has her own YouTube channel and Instagram. But anyway, I digress. Long story short, this is called Fast Like a Girl by Mindy Peltz. And my camera's about to die, so really quick. It's just a woman's guide to using the healing power of fasting to burn fat, boost energy, and balance hormones. I got this because she talked a lot about this book in that video. Okay, it died quicker than I thought it was, but that's Fast Like a Girl by Dr. Mindy Peltz. Yeah, that's that book. This is the video. I don't even know what I talked about, truly. But, you know, it is what it is. Oh, look, with me snorting like a little Peppa Pig. I hope you guys have a great day, a great time, a great week, a weekend. Girl, I don't know. What I do know is I am tired. Okay? Can I fit in a nap before I have to go get my kids from school? That is the question. Bye. What? This is, ending these things is so weird.